Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In Group in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm going to do a review of the new Vinyl Me Please Miles Davis box set. This is titled Miles Davis, The Electric Years. This is numbered to 2000. I've got 575 of 2000. They're numbered there on the back. According to the hype sticker here, it is AAA lacquers cut from tapes by Ryan Smith, Sterling Sound. 180 gram vinyl with a 24-page booklet. I've got the discs out, but I'll show you, and I'll talk about the sound quality here as well, comparing it against some other stuff. But it comes with, I'm not nuts about the tchotchkes, but in this case they fit. Volt miles from on the corner. Little pamphlet about what you bought. It comes with the book itself, which is actually quite nice. Some of the photographs in this book are really nice. So it's a nice little set presentation-wise. Also, when you get into the actual jackets, they are mostly stellar. I got one small little gripe, but let's pull a couple out. Let's start with Bitches Brew. Bitches Brew. Oh, look at how beautiful this cover is. High gloss, Stoughton type tip-on jacket. You know, don't know if they're Stoughton. A lot of companies have switched from Stoughton to Spark, who are making pretty even quality covers. The only difference is they're slightly bigger, but beautiful cover, really nice. Vinyl Me Please gives you poly-lined inner sleeves, like you should have, right? Okay, what's my one little gripe? Well, all the covers are fantastic, right? And they're all almost original. This one just took me off by surprise. Maybe it's because it's one of my favorite Miles Davis records, one of my favorite jazz records of all time. But here is a few more. So let me go over what this box includes. This is the whole box. I showed you Miles Davis's Bitches Brew. It has Miles Davis, Get Up With It, Miles Davis, Big Fun, Miles Davis's Alive Evil, Miles Davis, On the Corner, Miles Davis, A Tribute to Jack Johnson, and Miles Davis, In a Silent Way. Although these records are all great in their own way, I think the major records in this box, the ones that people are most excited for, are Bitches Brew, Jack Johnson, and In a Silent Way. I love On the Corner. I don't think it gets as much love with the broader community. I think it's fantastic. There's a go with a friend to, and I've told this story, I go with a friend to a like a bar poker game, and they've got this album on the jukebox, and I play the album from front to back. Drives everybody nuts, but I'm paying to listen to it, so I put it on anyways. Great record, big fun, good set of records, right? The only thing that's a little, they're all beautiful tip-on jackets. I love the fact too, as opposed to, say, for instance, the Mobile Fidelity of Jack Johnson. The Mobile Fidelity uses the original cover. This was the original cover that Jack Johnson was released with. Miles Davis said that this was not the cover that was supposed to be on the record, and subsequently was moved to this. This is a better looking cover in my opinion. I think it's kind of got a more serious feel, look to it. But not the original cover. The one thing that was really bizarre to me and really weird about this whole box set is this record here. Look at the photograph on Miles. Look at Miles' face in this photograph. I looked at that and I thought to myself, God, that Miles looks so young, and it just doesn't look right for this period. Then I grabbed my Mobile Fidelity version. I'm like, oh yeah, there he goes. He's got a little more weathered look. That was more period correct for this time, right? But what's it supposed to be? I had a feeling that Vinyl Me Please wasn't it, but yeah, this is the original. Uh, he has the more weathered look in this as well. So they've kind of, and you can see a few, I know, is this me being nitpicky? I feel like it might be, but it's just weird. You could see they added shadows to his face, right? They added shadows to his face. They messed with the color of his lips. They smoothed the skin out. It just looks really weird. I would be willing to bet, though, that that was something that the Miles Davis estate insisted on. That's something that I can't really see them doing on their own and not have to get it approval for, or why they would even do that. I feel like maybe the Miles Davis estate had something to do with that. Anyways, a little bit nitpicky. Other than that, the covers are great. And the thing, like I said, I prefer is, look at this cover in general. This is so much nicer, this style of cover, right? Obviously, than the Mobile Fidelity. That's one thing that I can say Vinyl Me Please does a hell of a job. They probably have the best overall covers in the entire industry of vinyl, other than Electric Recording Company. The one thing that they do exceptionally well is they generally make great covers when they're not bowed, bubbling, sharpied. God, I'm kind of regretting my comments there. So yeah, when they're not bowed, bubbling, sharpied, tampered, you know, the general litany of things that you might find on Electric Recording Company record. When they're perfect, they are a true sight to behold. And these are fantastic as well. I will say that they make these, I think, a little bit thinner than the typical releases. I think that in the box sets, I think their typical releases are using a slightly, ever so slightly thicker cardboard. But just like a QRP, I was going to say Electric Recording Company and QRP, Tone Poet, it's like that is the highest caliber. But when it comes to reissues, other than that UHQR, Tone Poet, this is really like the pinnacle. And they a lot of times go above and beyond, though, as they'll do stuff like spot glossing, glitter in the cover. They kind of embellish it a little bit. And I think, though, more times than not, it comes out better because it's a reissue. I mean, you know, it doesn't necessarily always have to be perfect, but it is cool when they do something above and beyond that makes it better. Okay. If I was to rate my favorite Miles Davis records, I would do Kinda Blue, I would do Jack Johnson, and I would do In a Silent Way. Those are my three favorite Miles Davis records. I love every era of Miles Davis, from the late stuff when he had the hip-hop rhyming going on it, his live stuff where he was covering stuff like Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time, and he was covering MJ. Every era of Miles Davis is fantastic. It's new, it's fresh. He was always innovative. It was just an amazing musician to hear him throughout the years. Fantastic. The Jack Johnson, to me, though, is fantastic. It's the closest Miles ever got to a rock and roll record. It truly is. The lineup on this record is absolutely mind-bending. Billy Cobham, John McLaughlin. The list is fantastic. One thing, too, is they actually had the back cover on the reissue, subsequent reissue, was the front of the original. But yeah, Herbie Hancock's on keyboard. It's just killer. And if you're not familiar with this record, I highly recommend you try it out. The record starts, and off of memory, what is it, like 2-3 minutes before Miles Davis even starts? Is that on? Maybe it's on side 1 or 2, but it's like there's like a delay before Miles even comes in. It's just like blistering guitar. It just starts with like a guitar solo. But yeah, side 1 is Right Off. Side 2 is Yes or No. It's 2 songs. It's Miles Davis just absolutely balls to the wall jamming. Record is absolutely killer. Like I said, the closest he ever got to a rock record. Hell of a record. Highly recommend it. If you're not a jazz fan and you just want to hear something, you're a rock guy, this is a hell of a record to listen to. Let's talk about sound quality. And I've got every Miles Davis record under the sun, every variation of every Key album, and love Miles Davis. I've got the collection, right? I got the goods. I know what I'm talking about. Up until this point, I don't care what it's made out of. I know we got DSD in the mix now. People are changing their opinions. But up till this point, the mobile fidelity, especially In a Silent Way. I mean, all these records. I left Bitches Brew for some reason in the other room, but on the corner, it doesn't matter what they are. These records were the best sounding I have ever heard. These records, they were absolutely fantastic, and actually they're putting them back in print. I think I got maybe all 3 of these in print. They're amazing. They're in print. I got Bitches Brew might be waiting on a repress, but the 3 of the 4 that are in the box, I think I have in stock. They're in print. They're doing them. They sound absolutely dynamite. You're not going to get a better sounding version for 400 bucks. The thing is, too, the box set, I think, what is it, 350 bucks if you're a member? It's like 400 bucks if you're not a member. Damn, this is expensive. It's not cheap at all. I have to say, honestly, and I really spent the most time with those 4 albums, the new versions of this are even a step above the mobile fidelities. They are, it's not lights and day. It's not like listening to, you know, an 8-track of Asia versus the new UHQR. It's not that kind of experience, but they are better. The one thing I think that is most noticeable, and I think some people might actually have a criticism of, is there's a lot more top end. I don't think that is a result of, could be wrong, of Ryan boosting anything at the top end. I just truly feel that that would have been something that was on the master tape. When I've listened to jazz master tapes, the one thing that is so noticeable is how ear-piercing and blistering sounding a horn is. Just imagine if Miles Davis has taken this horn and blowing it 8 feet from you. It's going to have an effect. If you turn the volume up, it's going to have a loud, almost piercing effect. The Vinyl Me Please retain all that. And I think that is what's lost in the mobile fidelity. The mobile fidelity tamed a little bit of that, and some people might like that. I would imagine it's a little easier to track if you got a real budget turntable. You might have a little bit of a time tracking some of like some of that belching In a Silent Way, you know, some of the horn that comes off of this record. I think you might have even a little bit of time tracking it. The Miles Davis mobile fidelities kind of tame that a little bit. But I think everything is a little bit fresher on this. And what's interesting is these weren't made from the master tapes. They were made from tape copies, my assumption is. They mentioned that they're from tapes. Maybe somewhere they mentioned that they're actually from master tape copies. But that's kind of how Sony is putting stuff out at this point. They're not allowing tapes to really go out of their possession. That's why Mobile Fidelity is going to their studio with their machine, making copies, making from their copies, making DSD copies themselves. That's the reason why. But I think tape copies were sent for this box set, and the sound, though, is spectacular. I think leaving that a little bit higher end frequency, it just separated the music a bit more. Maybe not even a bit, maybe above, what's above a bit? Maybe 2 bits more. So it elevated the separation, but it had such a more lifelike, realistic sound. When you lit that top end rip, to me it was just so much more reminiscent of what a live jazz concert would be. If you're anywhere near a stage of a live jazz concert, you're going to get that visceral, piercing noise coming out of a brass instrument. It's just there, and that's there in this record. And that is kind of lost in, it's dialed back, or lost or dialed back in the mobile fidelity. I don't want to besmirch the mobile fidelity. You're not going to get the mobile fidelity and think, oh, I've got chips. I mean, they're unbelievable. And if you compare it against the original, I know I don't have the nicest cover on this In a Silent Way, but if you look at this disc, I got this from a gentleman who's a record producer, and all of his records were just, you won't find a cleaner copy. Cover's got a little mark on it, but he didn't play his records. He just wrote his name on the back, and he put them on a shelf. And unfortunately, I got a little bit of ring wear, but I should grab another cover, a little nicer when I get one in, an original of this. But anyways, actually, what is this? Oh, it's a 1A2, so just the stone first of this record. Doesn't even hold a candle to the mobile fidelity. It's not even close. The mobile fidelity is so much better. It's like the original's here, The Mobile Fidelity is here, and the new Vinyl Me Please is here. I will say, if you are a big Miles Davis fan, the Vinyl Me Please box set is a no-brainer. People forget, short-sighted memory, but I was selling, it was out of print though, you know, don't think I was selling in-print records for that. I was selling the Miles Davis In a Silent Way. I had 2 copies come in and trade. I got $500 a piece for this record. It was going for mind-boggling money, huge money, because it was good. The word was out. It was good. People knew it was out. The word was out. It was the one to own, and people were paying. Bitches Brew was $400. My Mobile Fidelity. Jack Johnson maybe got to $150. On the corner maybe got to like $100, $125. But this, these 4 records, Mobile Fidelity, it cost you $1,000 back then, more, $1,100. So all things considered, they're back in print, but the box set seems more reasonable at that point in time, considering you get the grip of other albums. I will say this though, I don't see the Miles Davis box set staying in print long. But I will say this, Vinyl Me Please used to have items that were in stock and then they'd go out of print. The Grateful Dead box in, which is somewhere over here. That Zambia box. There was a Whitney Houston disc that went out of print, and these like crept up in value. Some of them quite substantially. That Zambia box was like $1,000. It was the story of Zambia Records. They reprinted it, gave it a different color. I mean, it's not a red and white box anymore, or a white and black box. It's a red and black box, but they reprinted it. It's the same pressings, same mastering, same lacquers. They bring things back in a print. So if you find yourself watching this video sometime in the future and this is a $500, $600, $700, $900 box, I can see that being the case because it is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend this. But if you find yourself, if it was me personally, I'd be a little bit concerned that I paid $800, $900 for something like this, because at any point in time, it is theoretically possible we can get another run of this. The demand's great enough. There's a good chance they can make it happen with Sony. I don't know. I mean, that's inner working stuff of Vinyl Me Please. But as a whole, this box is fantastic. And I will say, and it's not just those 4. I focused on those 4 albums. I feel like, and I got to spend a little more time with the rest of the box, but I quickly listened to those other records. I would be willing to say that this is so far mostly the definitive versions of all the albums in this box. They truly are. Like, I don't think I would listen to, I can't see myself putting on the Mobile Fidelity, Bitches Brew. I can't see myself listening to them when I have, this is just better. It's just a little bit better, but it's better. And I can't see myself listening to the Mobile Fidelities. If I wasn't a big Miles fan though, would I go out and spend $400 on this? Probably not. I think you're fine with the Mobile Fidelity versions. But if you are a Miles fan, you like those albums, you want the best sounding version of those albums, I highly recommend you check out this box from Vinyl Me Please. It's fantastic. All right, guys, check us out online at theingroove.com. Until next time.